I paused Zootopia 2 over 300 times, and hidden in a background prop is what might be the actual villain of Zootopia 3. Not a rumor, not a leak, something Disney planted in plain sight 2 movies in a row. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Before we get there, this movie is hiding a Lion King homage that genuinely caught me off guard. A tribute to a voice actor who passed away years ago, and a marketing mystery Disney never actually answered. Let's get into it. But before, go ahead and subscribe because we are so close to 1,000 subscribers. For the first find, pay attention the next time Judy and Nick run through the kitchen during the big chase scene. There's a very proud, very regal lion chef carefully plating a dish, and then his hat gets knocked off mid-chase, revealing a rat underneath controlling him by pulling on his mane, exactly like Remy does to Linguini in Ratatouille. That's an easy one to catch. What's harder to catch is the raccoon standing right next to him in the same shot, which is a quiet nod to a completely different movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once. For the second find, keep an eye on the frying pans during the fight near the end. Nick knocks Gary out cold with one, and Byron Howard, who directed both this movie and Tangled, confirmed it's a direct callback to Rapunzel's weapon of choice. It's actually not even the first time a frying pan's been used on a snake in this universe. Disney's own 100th anniversary short already had Rapunzel using one on Kaa from the Jungle Book. Real quick, because I need you to remember something for later. There's a scene near the end at a place called the Climate Wall that completely changes how you're supposed to feel about one specific character. I'll come back to it. The third find is one of my favorites because Disney made an entire wave of promotional posters parodying their own franchises, all reworked into Zootopia's world. My favorite is the Toy Story one, showing Gary curled up inside a cowboy boot, a direct nod to Woody's classic line about a snake being in his boot.
I get it. There's a snake in my boot.
For the fourth find, head to Tundra Town. There's a massive frosted hedge maze identical to the one outside the Overlook Hotel in The Shining, and the directors have said outright they're both huge fans of that film. The homage goes further than just the maze, too, with the same iconic theme music playing as a half-crazed Paubert stumbles through it, mirroring one of horror's most famous images almost shot for shot. Here's a sixth find, and it's a genuinely heavy one for a Disney sequel. When Nick gets captured, Milton sinks his claws into him in a shot that's staged almost identically to the moment Scar lets Mufasa fall in The Lion King. It's not played for laughs at all, and it's one of the few moments in either movie that borrows directly from one of Disney's own darkest scenes, rather than an outside movie. For the seventh find, look closely at the motorcycle Paubert rides. If you pause on it, you can make out the silhouette of Cusco in his llama form from The Emperor's New Groove worked into the design. Okay, stick with me, because the next stretch is where the deleted concepts and deep cuts start piling up fast. The eighth find comes from released concept art. Before the final cut, several disguises were considered for Nick and Judy's undercover mission, including dressing as elderly women, or as a celebrity and their photographer, or Judy posing as a mother caring for baby Nick. Once Finnick got written into the mission, the directors realized turning the three of them into a fake family unit worked best. And while we're on that scene, when Judy opens the shipping container, you can see the anteater inside was actually smuggling catnip.
One bottle of catnip.
The ninth find is one you'll only catch pausing during Nick's evening at home, because the streaming service he scrolls through actually has a name, Hulu Zoo, a direct parody of Hulu. The fake titles on it spoof Andor, Alien, Hamilton, Die Hard, Godzilla, Futurama, Silence of the Lambs, and Gravity Falls. One of the shows on there, Fantastic Fur, is a nod to an actual corner of the Marvel multiverse. For the 10th find, go back to that undercover disguise sequence. Nick's shirt reads Foxy Dad, and Judy's parody slogan shirt swaps a letter to spell out Hoppy, a nod to the verb hop, which is also where Judy's own last name, Hops, actually comes from. Real quick, again, because we're about a third of the way through this now, and everything from here starts connecting back to that climate wall scene I mentioned earlier. The 11th find is Duke Weaselton's bootleg stand, and it's been fully restocked since the first movie. This time, he's selling parody versions of The Mandalorian, Thor Love and Thunder, Moana, Wreck-It Ralph, and The Da Vinci Code. There's also a parody of a 12th Frozen movie starring a character voiced by Josh Gad, the same actor who plays Olaf, and a live-action Tangled parody, which is a genuinely meta joke since Disney has actually confirmed a real live-action Tangled remake since this movie came out. There's also an Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom parody sitting right there, which lands harder once you remember Ke Huy Quan played young Short Round in that exact film, whose biggest fear is, of course, snakes. For the 12th find, Marsh Market is basically a Disney reference wall. There's a shop called The Little Mermaid, another named after Hook from Peter Pan, and a market sign that flips Finding Nemo's most famous line into a joke about fish being food instead of friends. A reptile speakeasy nearby has a neon sign reading Mr. Toad, and an insect lamp inside features Ray the Firefly from The Princess and the Frog. During a quiet moment between Nick and Judy at the market, the score even shifts into a callback to the classic dinner scene song from Lady and the Tramp. For the 14th find, 2 real biology jokes made it in. During the reptile bar raid, a couple of lizards detach their own tails to escape, exactly like real lizards do to evade predators, and one keeps hers afterward as a literal souvenir. And Gary's rival lizard character is named Jesus, which makes sense once you learn he's a feathered basilisk, a real species nicknamed the Jesus Christ lizard, because it can actually run across water. We're just about halfway. Stay with me, because the deep cuts about to hit are the ones almost nobody talks about. The 15th find takes us inside Nick's actual apartment. There's a framed banknote on his wall, which the director confirmed is money from Nick's very first con as a kid. There's also a skunk rug on the floor.
What did you do that made Mr. Big so mad at you?
I may have sold him a very expensive wool rug that was made from the fur of a skunk.
His pink shirt in this movie is meant to symbolize how much Judy's influence has rubbed off on him, since she wore pink in the original film, and his tie has a howler monkey pattern woven into the flowers, a quiet nod to the plant that started their first taste together, meant to be read as a gift from Judy. Even his apartment number, 23, is a small Disney history nod, since 1923 is the year the studio itself was founded. Quick pause, because I promise the next couple of finds are worth slowing down for. The 17th find is the one that actually got to me. Finnick's original voice actor, Tiny Lister, passed away back in 2020. Rather than recast him, Disney's team worked with his family to use preserved audio recordings from the first film. So the version of Finnick you hear in this sequel is still, in part, genuinely him. For the 18th find, remember that mysterious hooded figure from the very first teaser? Fans spent months theorizing it was the wolf from Puss in Boots, a Star Wars Jawa, or even a human character. Once the real trailers dropped, that figure was nowhere to be found. One of the directors later explained the hooded figure in the teaser was never meant to be an actual design. It was only there to signal that the movie would have a villain at all.
Okay, remember what I told you to hold on to earlier about the climate wall? This is where it actually pays off. The 19th find is the real villain twist, and it's worth walking through properly. For most of the runtime, Paubert Linksley, the youngest and clumsiest Linksley, acts like a genuine ally to Judy and Nick. Then, at the climate wall, he turns completely, injecting Judy with venom, stealing the only antidote, and leaving her and Gary to freeze. Unlike Bellwether in the first film, Paubert isn't chasing power, he's chasing his family's approval. And his father, Milton, is the real mastermind, protecting decades of buried history. It's also worth mentioning the carrot recorder Nick and Judy share gets accidentally destroyed earlier in the film, and its condition through the story mirrors their relationship exactly. When Nick finally gives it back to her repaired, the glue job is visibly messy, which is the whole point. Their relationship isn't perfect, but they keep fixing it anyway. For the 20th find, the one I promised at the very start, there's a scene where Clawhauser tries to get into a computer belonging to Paul, and the password on screen isn't random.
decoded properly, it reads as a message confirming that a third movie is real and that birds are coming too. That's not a stray joke sitting in a background prop. That's the film confirming its own future before the story even gets there.
And the post-credit scene backs it up completely. Judy sits alone, replaying a voice message from Nick on her carrot pen over and over, while her neighbors bang on the walls, telling each other to be quiet. An actual callback to a similar gag in Brother Bear. She finally sets the pen down, and a single feather drifts down and lands beside it. Here's the detail that makes this one hit different. The director has confirmed that because the studio didn't have an actual bird model built yet, the shadow and feather in that shot were reused from Maui's eagle transformation in Moana. That's not a coincidence or a placeholder they forgot to fix. That's confirmation this was planned before they'd even built the assets for it.
So let's actually sit with what that means. Disney has a real pattern of doing this. The credits of Encanto quietly teased Strange World. The credits of Strange World teased Wish. And now the credits of Zootopia 2 tease Hexed, Disney's next original film. This studio plants its next move years in advance, on purpose, every single time. Nobody's confirmed anything officially about Zootopia 3, so everything here is informed theory, not a leak. But 2 movies in, the pattern is clear. The first film was about predator and prey mistrust among mammals. This one was about reptiles, a group actively hidden and pushed to the margins for generations. That's not an accident, that's a formula. And the film just told us which group gets pulled into the light next. So there you have it, some of the deepest cuts in Zootopia 2 and a very real, very deliberate clue about where this franchise goes next. Did you already know about the Finnick tribute, or did that one get you? Let me know in the comments, and go watch my first Zootopia video if you haven't, because a lot of you clearly liked it.
Hey fans! Subscribe to the channel. Help us 1,000 subscribers.